Zipline has been scaling autonomous drone delivery, not just for medical supplies in Africa, but now expanding into commercial logistics in the United States through partnerships with retailers. The pitch is faster delivery, lower cost, and continuous operation without human labor. So yeah, they're called Zipline. When you hear about this, what's your immediate instinct? Signal or noise?
So Zipline has a place to stay. So it's a signal, it's not a noise, because it's here to stay. Remember the old adage when they promised us flying cars, and they gave 20 years ago, and they gave us social media instead. I think flying cars are coming now. So I think there's an appreciation for I'll call them different highways. I don't know why we have to operate on a 2D level, and why ground transportation has been predominant, right? Then we have the air that will it's there's so many ways to reach point A and point B via air versus if you're using a highway or a railroad. So it's just by looking at it, right? Eventually we're gonna crack the code of safely operating drones, for commercial or recreational use. So Zipline is a signal, not a noise. How do I analyze Zipline using our framework, right? So first and foremost, it's not a hardware play anymore. I think the box is they don't need to be in the business of figuring out battery life and load. Somebody else will figure that out for them. So it's not a hardware. It is mostly a coordination play. I mean, the value of Zipline is not flying one drone and taking a video and kind of share it on social media, delivering a pizza. I think I saw a video, it's ridiculous. I mean, anyways, of delivering a hot pizza from pizzeria. That's really, that's noise, that's not signal. But it's really like, how do you operate, a fleet of X numbers of drones safely, securely, and that's what I think the value is. It's really an orchestration play. And actually it's a lobbying play too. I mean, how are you gonna map out coordinations with the right authorities, right? Because remember that, spatial air authority has been, it's antiquated, right? Because we didn't have flying things, around residential area for, for a while. I mean, it was mostly airplanes flying from city to cities, or maybe helicopters, but, for that, they need to be able to almost creating the pathway for them and for others. So, I mean, that goes without saying. But eventually, because if they're going to do that, eventually a lot of companies would like to partake. Some companies want to own the whole chain, like Amazon. I mean, obviously, there's proper regulation about it. They'll be the first one to start delivering. And economically, I think I'm not too concerned about it. It will become valuable, right? I mean, and viable, meaning the cost of delivering stuff via drone is not going to be expensive. Anyway, those of us that live in the US, I mean, I don't care if the stuff gets delivered to me by drone or via truck. I mean, my Amazon Prime gets me stuff the same day. And so usually consumers don't really care about it. So now it gets back to, is it economically viable and is it meaningfully different? So why do we need to deploy drones to deliver versus trucks, or railway or other existing means of delivery? And that needs to be justified. Is it because it's cheaper? Is it because it's faster? Is it safer? And that's something that we will spend a lot of time on. Otherwise, it's just hype, right? I mean, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, your customer, that's why we wake up and we have customers to service. And if the customer doesn't care how things gets to them, as long as they get on time and they get at a reasonable cost, then having a drone or having, a UPS or a FedEx doesn't really make a difference. And then the economic pie, I mean, let's assume everything else. Let's assume that it's better by an order of magnitude, right? It's like, okay, it's cheaper, faster than the existing way of us getting stuff. Then, okay, there's a pie now, right? Then who gets what? What goes to the consumer and what goes to the various actors? And I think that's going to be a big pie that goes to the orchestration and coordination. I mean, they're the one that are doing the work, right? Not the work from one drone from A to B. It's like how the whole ecosystem is working effectively, efficiently, and then the fallback. You know what I mean? If something goes wrong, right? You know, what is the fallback? Is the system self-correcting, and who's self-correcting that, and who's sending the message to the warehouse that a drone hit another drone, and therefore these two packages are now, you know, out of delivery. They need to be replaced immediately, right? So, and I think the companies that will facilitate that will own the big part of the delivery. So again, going back into simple framework, why do we need to have drone deliver versus existing ways? I mean, is it meaningfully better? Is it faster? Is it cheaper by an order of magnitude? And if so, then yes, this business should exist.